And it's Ken Kraetzer. We are in Verona, New York for Talking Business at the Independent Bankers Association, New York State Annual Conference. It's their 50th anniversary. We have a chance to talk with one of the leaders from the national organization, the Independent Community Bankers. That is Brad Bolton, a past national chairman, and is the CEO of Community Spirit Bank in Alabama. Brad, good to see you. What's it like to be visiting here in upstate New York?
Oh, it's wonderful. I always enjoy coming to visit with our fellow community bankers, and New York State has been a joy for Julie and I as we've toured around a couple of days, and certainly a pleasure to be here for the 50th anniversary of this Independent State Association.
Well, that's terrific. And you talked in remarks to the gathering last night about the role of community bankers serving Main Street, serving their communities, individuals, and businesses. Tell us about why that's such an important role in America today.
Well, I truly believe that community banks are the lifeblood of Main Street. You know, we provide 60% of all small business loans and 80% of all ag loans in America. So we can think back to the pandemic. We did 60% of all PPP loans. So where would Main Street be without the community bank franchise? And I truly believe that we advocating for Main Street priorities is what protects both consumers and small business owners to be able to enjoy the relationship-focused model of banking that we provide. So that's why I truly believe that we are protectors of Main Street.
And you do a lot of work representing community banks in Washington, to Congress, to the White House committees. Tell us about some of the initiatives, certainly differentiating community banks, which are smaller banks with local funding, from the money center banks and the so-called, as you described them, the too big to fail banks.
Well, I think it all boils down to that relationship-focused model of doing business. It's not about transactions. It's not about numbers or sales goals. It's truly about the one-to-one relationship that we have with our customers. And I think that is such a difference that separates and differentiates who we are as community bankers versus the too big to fail firms. And so as community bankers come to Washington, D.C., the members of Congress need to hear that difference, and they need to understand the difference that I have with my customers who can pick up their phone and call me on my cell phone and get me as the president of my bank versus these too big to fail firms. And so that's truly the difference that I think that Congress must hear, but we've got to be in Washington, D.C. to make that voice heard for our customers' sake.
And you talked about, and there's going to be a presentation this afternoon about innovation and implementing technology to banks. How does the ICBA work on helping its banks, which are smaller, with less resources for technology, help them to develop capabilities they need?
Well, our ICBA innovation footprint is phenomenal. We launched the Think Tech Accelerator program in 2019. We brought it in-house a couple of years ago, and now it's year-round programming in Atlanta, Georgia. And Charles Potts and his entire team does such a great job of bringing forward-thinking companies to the accelerator program, and then they listen to feedback from community banks so that we can solve real-world pain points that we're having with meeting the needs of our customers and our communities. And as I said last night, truly every community banker's innovation journey is different, but using our innovation footprint, we're solving solutions that make a difference for Main Street and allow us to serve our customers more efficiently and more effectively. I always say, Ken, that we have the best of both worlds. We can provide the best-in-class innovation and technology while having that relationship to back it up, and that's a win for consumers and small businesses.
And discussion and presentations about artificial intelligence, AI, and protecting against cyber risks. Two big technology aspects that bankers have to be constantly looking at.
Yes. You know, we had a forum back at ICBA Live last March about AI. And if you would talk to most bankers, they'd say, well, I don't use AI. But in reality, AI is behind the scenes protecting every institution right now, when we don't even know about it. So using AI is so important for our community banks, not only to manage cyber risk, but also to get into the details of the data that we have in our cores. We got so much data on our customers, and using AI, we're able to see where our customers are spending money and figure out ways to serve them more effectively.
Hey, a final question. You spoke with a lot of enthusiasm about training future community bankers, encouraging your banks to send their young staffers to all sorts of training and experiences to learn more about banking. Why do you get excited about seeing the future generation of bankers?
Well, I am one of the generational bankers. I'm a second generation community banker. I've got the third generation in my bank right now. And I truly believe that that's how we keep community banks independent, is by training up the next generation of leaders. And in my time on the road, that's what I've tried to encourage, that we can't just sit around and think about succession planning as doing something that just checks a box. I truly want to put names and faces on the next generation of community continuators who will develop the passion that we as senior level community bankers have for our industry on that next generation. And whenever we ignite that fire and that passion of those next generation leaders, we bode very well to make sure that the community bank franchise is going to be here for generations to come. So that's why it's so important. I appreciate associations like this that has a leadership forum that can allow young leaders to come and get involved. We have it at ICBA through our Lead Forward Summit that happens in September of each year, and there's no better way to get next generation leaders involved than bringing them to ICBA Live and to our Capital Summit. Whenever you go to Washington, D.C. and see where the sausage is made, you know that you've got to be in the fight. And it takes those next generation of leaders to get in the fight to protect the franchise.
And Brad Bolton, this is a final question. What do you enjoy most about being a community banker and going around the country representing ICBA?
Being a community banker is just being able to make a difference for the communities in which we serve, owning their issues, being accountable to their issues, and I've tried to take that same mentality and philosophy across the country. Whenever I see members that have a specific need that maybe I'm not facing, but they are, I'm able to then advocate that at the national level to help them, which ultimately helps our industry as a whole. Because I'm not satisfied that just my community bank flourishes. I want every community bank across this nation to flourish, and through the power of ICBA, we collectively can make sure that happens.
Mr. Brad Bolton from Red Bay, Alabama, Community Spirit Bank, and a past national chairman of the Independent Community Bankers of America. Great to see you and great to chat today.
My pleasure. Appreciate what you do telling our community bank story.
We enjoyed doing that. Great to see you. This is Ken Kraetzer for Talking Business in Verona, New York.